Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be going over 5 reasons, or at least my 5 reasons, why you should not be purchasing or wearing a fake watch. Now, before I get any further, what I mean by fake. A fake watch is something that is a counterfeit. It is a basically clone, on the outside usually, of the real deal. It is trying to masquerade or present itself as something that it is not. Obviously, if you do like the content, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to see more awesome stuff in the future. On the wrist, for those people who are interested, I'm wearing my Rado Hyperchrome. I love Rado as a company. They make some amazing watches. Go check them out. So now, on to the 5 reasons. Number 1, first off, you are supporting criminal enterprise. The production and selling of fake products or counterfeit products is illegal. Now, in certain countries, it might be legal to purchase these products, but you are still supporting illegal activity. Like, I'm not going to really get into more of the legal aspects of this. Otherwise, this video would be way, way longer than it really is. So, moving on to number 2. You are not portraying an accurate view or a real view of oneself. You are faking it. Don't be a fake person. Simple. Now, what I mean by that is a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to spend that kind of money on that piece. For instance, the Rolex Submariner is probably one of the most faked watches, and those are running in between about the 15K Canadian up to about 20K Canadian, depending on what it is. It's like, I want people to think that I have what I have, but I don't actually pay that amount. I understand the appeal of that. I understand where it's coming from, but you're not accurately portraying what is. You're putting the cart before the horse, and you're saying, I want this lifestyle, but I don't want, I want to pretend that I have the lifestyle, but I don't want to pay for it. Which, you wouldn't go and buy a fake BMW. Not that those, I don't think those exist. Or like a fake Mercedes or a fake, Lamborghini. Now, we've seen some weird kit cars, but at the end of the day, we laugh at those, right? We laugh at kit cars for the most part. And I think that it's kind of the same thing with watches. When we find out what it is, we just kind of they feel we've been lied to. So it's like, you don't want to lie to other people about what the last thing you want to do is have someone come up to you and be like, is that a real Rolex? And you're like, the awkward question, right? Either A, you lie, or B, you tell the truth, and they kind of look at you like, oh, okay, well. And then you could preface it, be like, I find that the people who, honestly, the people who really defend the purchasing of this, they get butthurt in the sense they're like, oh, well, it's my money, I can do whatever I want. I try to justify it by those are overpriced, blah, 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 blah. It basically just, I call it the appeal to finance for an excuse as to why they do what they do. Now, they actually say, a lot of the things that they say is they're like, oh, well, it doesn't, I don't really care about, what it is. I just like the look of it. And I don't want to pay that amount of money for it. Well, okay, that brings me to my 3rd point, which is there's something called homage watches. So if you really didn't care about the the actual logo on it, and you didn't want to pretend to be something you're not, and you just really like the design, go buy an homage watch. I'm not saying that I really like them. There's the Steinhardt Ocean 1, amazingly built Swiss timepiece for $600 Canadian. It's not an illegal product. Or an illegally sold product. It's just not a Rolex. Or for instance, the Invicta Pro Diver. Yes, it's not a Rolex, but it's not trying to say that it's a Rolex on the dial, right? You can buy these watches and you can still wear them and you could enjoy them without being having to worry about people be like, oh, is that a Rolex? So you could be like, no, it's actually an Invicta. It's made to look very similar like that. And it's I don't have a problem with homage watches. Some people do. Some people think they're the bane of everybody's existence. But it's if you really don't care about the name on the dial, if you don't care about that, just go buy an homage watch. If you just really like the design, you're like, that's a really great design, I want that. Go buy an homage. But I find that most people care about the logo, not just the design. Anyways, so that brings me to the 4th thing. The 4th thing, so number 4 on my list of why you shouldn't be buying these, is there's QC issues. There's a lot of, they aren't built to the same spec standard as the real thing. Obviously not. But the amount of times I've seen really, really poorly done fakes is just astounding. I'm talking bezels misaligned. I'm talking the printing on the dial. Some stuff can be spelt wrong, for goodness sake. It's just, it's sloppy. The colors aren't the proper colors. They're different shades. Like the indices are misaligned. They're like not like the hour track or like the minute track is like not perfectly spaced out. And it's like, yeah, it might look good from afar, but it's like it's far from good when you get close up and you just look at it and you're just like, oh my goodness, what is this travesty? And it's just a disaster, and it looks really, really, really bad. And I've seen tons and tons of these fakes, and people, especially people in local marketplace, like Facebook Marketplace and like Kijiji or Craigslist and eBay, trying to like pass off fakes as reals and real stuff, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is horrendous. And it's really, really disheartening in the sense of the quality control is just there. It's just not there. And I understand, like, people are like, oh, they make the super clones. You can get the super clones for like $1,000 US. And so basically it's about $1,300 Canadian. And I'm just like, okay, so I'm like, yeah, okay, you could do that. And they're like, really, they're built to a certain spec standard, but it's not the real thing. It just isn't. However, I'm going to like preface this by going into my fifth point. And I say, if you're going to spend over $1,000 on a fake watch, you should really just be buying something that is real from a respected manufacturer with real heritage. Honestly, spend $1,000 on a like $1,000 US or $1,300 Canadian. You add $200 to $300 more than that, you can go buy a used Oris Aquis. You will love that watch. It'll be a real watch. You will wear that for years to come, and you're gonna be proud of that piece. Is it a Rolex? No, but it's still a well-respected manufacturer. Amazing watch for the price. Like, value-wise, Oris is amazing. So, like, even if you, like, let's say we're talking into like the $300, $400, $500 range, you could even find, like, you know, like Seiko divers are a good option for something that's like horologically significant and respected brand. Or you could be even looking at like some of the entry-level Tissot's or you know, entry-level Hamiltons. Like, these are great watches. Like, I think for about under $700 you can get yourself into like a Hamilton khaki, which no watch collector is ever going to sit there and be like, oh, you bought a Hamilton, that's not good enough. Like, would you rather have like a cheaply made, cheaply manufactured Rolex knockoff, like a fake watch, or would you rather have something that people be like, that's a really cool watch? Like, we respect that. And it's like, honestly, like, in kind of a bonus thing, you're gonna get respect from actual collectors and respect from people, as opposed to being like a little bit like, oh, you bought a fake piece. Okay, but anyways, those are my five points for you guys. Obviously, if you did like the video, make sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to see more awesome stuff in the future. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's your own money. You can do with whatever you want with it. But I'm just here to kind of perhaps give you some advice, and if you take it, you take it. If you don't, you don't. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it there. So take care and see you later.